everybody. Welcome to another one of my videos. The weather's getting brighter out here and warmer. We had a really warm day the other day, and it's been a little windy, but it's great. It's almost warm enough to get rid of my winter jacket, so that's really good. So I just wanted to, I thought of something the other day. I had just, that if there's any old Jehovah's Witness phrases that I really don't like or saying, or that I've come to really hate and despise hearing especially more since I've left the cult, is, for me, I'm gonna say, return to Jehovah. Now, some of you former witnesses might think first of that brochure they released, that Return to Jehovah. I was still in when they released that, and it's definitely crap. See, the problem they're not really addressing the real reasons why some leave, or the problems of them to be able to come back, and they're not really truly. But of course, that's how they operate. You know, I've just returned to Jehovah like I'm a total idiot. Like I've just got an X on my forehead now, like marked for destruction, that anybody who leaves is no good, that we're all just doomed to die unless we return to Jehovah. But you know what the problem with that is? They're not the truth, and we left for a reason. You know, I'm thinking particularly on how they really demonize and say everything about anybody that leaves, how bad and, you know, demonic or they are, or, you know, just Satan spawn now. I like that. Or there was no good reason why we left. They just drill into their members' heads that no, you just got to avoid them at all costs now. Ignore them, even if they're your family, because there's nothing for them unless they come back. And that's, you know, how they also tell their members that, you know, there's nothing for you out in Satan's world, and you're just going to be sinning and end up dying, and you're just going to become an alcoholic or a gambler or a drug user, like. And what is it all really? It's all fear and control. That's what it all really comes down to. You know, I think of that movie The Village, where they make them just so afraid to ever venture out into the woods. They do the same thing with the Jehovah's Witnesses. They just put so much control and fear into them that they'll never want, they'll never want to leave. And I know I've said in the past, I think some who have more family within the Jehovah's Witnesses, I think some of them, it's just kind of natural that the thought of ever leaving is just, they don't want to think about that. And yeah, that's just most of what I wanted to say. And I don't like how much it degrades me and others like me who have left. Because, you know, guys, it really just shows that Watchtower does not want to admit they're in constant denial that people leave the Jehovah's Witnesses for good reasons. There's actually real sound, good reasons why some people choose to exit that religion. But no, they want to make it look, it's all about making themselves look good and anybody who's not a witness look bad. Because they must have been leading a double life. I guess they were a real bad sinner. I guess they were, when it's really it's none of that. So, one last thing I wanted to mention is just how I viewed people that left and were kicked out of the Jehovah's Witnesses when I was in. Now, during the time that I was a witness, there weren't a lot. I remember a few people being disfellowshipped, but a lot of times what would happen is they would stop coming to the meetings, and I would just finally realize the members a few months later, oh, I guess they must have left, you know. Like, they would become very inactive. The ones who were disfellowshipped were, I remember feeling sad, but I never felt a strong desire to hate them like the Watchtower would want their members to. I do remember wondering why. I do remember just having a natural curiosity of wondering why, although I think a lot it was probably, well, even I knew the reason why the thing that most are disfellowshipped for, I think a lot of witnesses can guess it. Let's just say the sexual immorality, or back in my day, fornication. But no, I would have always, the members hate and despise those who've left because they're told to, not really, I think for a lot, not really because they want to. So, in conclusion, I would just like to say, return to Jehovah. Oh my God. Shut up, Watchtower. I hate that phrase. You know, if you can give me a really good reason to go back, then sure, I'll go back. But that's probably never going to happen. Because you're liars, you're deceivers, you're not trustworthy. You are actually leading your people to their death with your false prophecies and your all these end dates that never come to pass. And you know, I have nothing to go back to, plain and simple. And you know what's just actually kind of pissed me off even more? Where I've run into a couple people. There was one on Instagram, and there was one I ran into in person that were like, oh, I'm sorry you left, I hope you come back. A lot of them, that's like, if they say anything, that's pretty much it. I hope you come back. And one of these people was like, he was one that had come to the meetings for a couple of years, had studied 2 of the books, but was never baptized. And you're telling me I gotta go back? And meanwhile, it's like, look who's talking. I think they're so indoctrinated to think that going back to Jehovah is only a good thing. Like, returning to Jehovah is like a good thing and not a bad thing in any way, that they simply don't know any better, and that's not the case. So, oh man, I will never return. There is nothing to go back to. And I want others to know that, yeah, don't listen to that. Ignore that phrase. You just gotta know better. There's nothing to go back to. So I'd like to thank you all for watching. Please like and subscribe if you enjoyed my video, and see you guys in the next one. Thanks. Bye.